Today, one of the incredible moments straight from Ukraine's frontline conflict zone, a Russian fighter threw his weapons and what is in his hand in front of him at an attacking drone to save his life. Astonishing footage shows how the mercenary saw the Ukrainian UAV coming to kill him on the battlefield, according to reports. He threw the nearest thing to hand towards the drone, the potatoes, part of his frontline food rations, causing the FPV drone to explode in a bright red flash close to him, and there were more cascading explosions, but he avoided the direct hit. The uniformed fighter is seen running away to take cover in nearby trees after the explosion amid thick white smoke. Reports say the man, named as Private Komatov, suffered minor injuries. He is a native of Uzbekistan who signed up to fight for Vladimir Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine, say Telegram channels. Kremlin propaganda outlet Avdiivka praised his lack of fear as the drone loaded with explosives buzzed him, and it said he masterfully downed it, hitting it with a sack of potatoes. It comes after the revelation that Russian soldiers returning from war have killed and wounded more than 200 people. The killings were mostly carried out by soldiers who were formerly prison inmates, but were freed in order to bolster numbers on the front line in Ukraine, and some deaths were the result of men taking the savagery of war back with them into civilian life. While at the moment, Ukraine has scored a massive weapons boost from NATO member Germany as part of a fresh tranche of military aid unveiled on Monday. Great news from our German friends. Thank you for your steadfast support, and Ukraine's defense ministry said on social media, announcing that Kyiv's military will receive more armored personnel carriers, anti-aircraft defenses, and ammunition for its ongoing fight against Russia. Russian forces have advanced in parts of Ukraine's eastern Donbas region in recent months as Ukraine suffers shortages of ammunition and equipment. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been appealing to his Western allies to provide additional support, saying that his troops are being hindered by low supplies of shells. As part of its latest military aid package, Germany has provided another 10 Marder armored personnel carriers, a second Skynex anti-aircraft system, nearly 30,000 rounds of ammunition for the Gepard anti-aircraft gun, ammunition for the Leopard 2 tank, missiles for the Iris-T system, and other supplies. The development comes days after German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said that Ukraine's allies in Europe must continue to provide assistance following a recent $61 billion aid package approved by Washington after months of talks. Scholz on April 24 described the U.S. military aid package as an encouraging and necessary signal. But I also want to say clearly that the United States decision doesn't release us here in Europe from the task of further expanding our support for Ukraine so that the country can defend itself against the aggressor, he said. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg on Monday told reporters during a press conference with Zelensky that it was not too late for Ukraine to win the ongoing war. Ukraine has been outgunned for months, forced to ration its ammunition. This means that fewer Russian missiles and drones have been shot down. Russia has been able to push forward along the front line, but it is not too late for Ukraine to prevail. More support is on the way. NATO is working hard to meet Ukraine's urgent needs, said Stoltenberg, and I have been clear that if allies face a choice between meeting NATO capability targets or support to Ukraine, they should support Ukraine and put plans in place to refill their stockpiles. Stocks can and will be replenished, and lives lost can never be regained, he added. Meanwhile, Ukraine fired U.S.-supplied missiles at Crimea in a bid to knock out Moscow's air defense capabilities on the peninsula it occupies, according to Russian media reports. It is not clear if the missiles reached their targets, with Moscow sources saying they had been shot down. The peninsula, which Vladimir Putin annexed in 2014, also hosts air bases, command and control centers and arms depots, and they have been repeatedly hit in Ukrainian strikes during the invasion. Russian military bloggers had posted on social media how ATACMS, Army Tactical Missile System, missiles had been fired at the occupied peninsula from the southern Ukrainian region of Kherson overnight on Monday. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said this month that President Joe Biden had authorized sending a significant number of ATACMS missiles to Ukraine back in February, which were part of a $300 million aid package. The U.S. had already provided medium-range versions of ATACMS missiles, and the powerful ballistic missiles can reach up to 190 miles, effectively putting into range any of Crimea's dozens of military targets. Vladimir Rogev, chairman of We Are Together with Russia, a pro-Russian group that operates in the Moscow-occupied Ukrainian region of Zaporizhia, said that the missiles had been fired at Crimea overnight but had been intercepted. Tonight, militants of the armed forces of Ukraine launched a missile attack on the Republic of Crimea, and Russian air defense worked over Zhumkoy and Simferopol, referring to a key military hub and one of the peninsula's main cities, Rogev wrote in a Telegram post. According to latest information, our defenders did an excellent job, and Rogev also said that an alarm was sounded across the peninsula, and the bridge linking Crimea with Russia's Krasnodar territory, which has been subject to numerous attacks during the war, was temporarily suspended. Russian military blogger 2 Majors wrote on Telegram that between 11 and 15 missiles had been fired from Berislav in Ukraine's southern Kherson region with the aim of knocking out air defense systems to hurt Moscow's aviation capabilities. The post also predicted that strikes will continue and that preparations for a massive attack on the Crimean bridge from the air and sea are not excluded. Meanwhile, the Telegram channel Prava Zanat said that Ukraine had launched combined strikes that included drones.